My ex-wife cheated on me with my brother and had a child with him. Now they are asking for money to repair the house. It was a quiet Thursday evening when everything changed. I was staring at my reflection in the bathroom mirror, a long-forgotten smile creeping onto my face as I realized that for once in my life, things were finally going my way. After years of scraping by, struggling in the shadows of my more perfect family members, I had been promoted to a position I had only dreamed of. I was now a vice president in the marketing department of a high-end firm. It was the moment that should have felt like the grand triumph of my career. But as I gazed at my reflection, something gnawed at me. My phone buzzed from the kitchen. A text. It was from my brother, Adam, the golden child, the one who had always been everyone's favorite, the one who never had to lift a finger but somehow ended up with everything handed to him, the one who married the beautiful woman, had the perfect children, lived in the perfect house, and yet, there I was, working my tail off every day just to make ends meet. I ignored the message at first, but then another came through. Hey, can we talk? This is urgent. I rolled my eyes. Adam never needed anything unless it was a favor. A favor I always felt obligated to grant, even when I didn't want to. But something in the tone of that text made me pause. Maybe it was time for a change. I left the bathroom and grabbed my phone from the kitchen counter, tapping out a quick reply. What's going on? I didn't expect what came next. Laura's pregnant. It's mine. We're having a baby. Laura, my ex-wife, the one I never could quite let go of, the one who cheated on me all those years ago with Adam, my brother. I stared at the screen, my blood running cold. The silence of the room pressed down on me. I gripped the edge of the counter. My head spun. Adam was never a man to take responsibility for his actions. He was the type to get away with everything. The type who would still come out looking like the good guy no matter what he did. And now, after all these years, after everything that had happened, after I'd spent years building myself up from nothing while he had the world at his feet, he was going to have a child with the one woman I had loved, the woman who had torn my heart out. The audacity, the betrayal. I couldn't breathe. The room seemed to close in on me. The phone buzzed again, snapping me out of my daze. Please, don't tell anyone. We need your help. Mom and Dad are asking for a favor. We need money to get the house fixed up before the baby comes. I froze. Money? They wanted money? My parents, the same parents who had ignored me for years, who always made it clear that Adam was the one they valued, the one who could do no wrong. They needed money from me? After everything? My first instinct was to throw my phone across the room, but instead, I stood there, paralyzed. It was as though I could hear the universe laughing at me. This was the moment. This was the moment I had been waiting for, without even knowing it. The moment everything was going to change. The next day, I tried to shake off the sting of Adam's text, but it lingered, gnawing at me. I had been promoted. I should have felt on top of the world, but instead, I was drowning in this boiling resentment. I called in sick to work. I needed a break. I needed time to figure out what the hell I was going to do with my life, because right now, it felt like I was standing in the ruins of everything I had ever worked for. Around noon, my phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't Adam. It was my mother. Can we talk? I had a knot in my stomach. My parents had a way of making everything sound like it was just a small favor, a simple request, but in reality, their demands were as suffocating as the air on a summer afternoon in a heat wave. I called her back. Mom, I said, trying to sound calm, trying not to let the bile rising in my throat show in my voice. What's going on? Her voice was sweet, too sweet. Honey, it's about Adam, she began. And Laura. We really need your help. You know, with the baby coming, and we're struggling. Adam's been working so hard, and now with Laura being pregnant, it's all just a lot. We know you've got the promotion, and we thought maybe you could help us out. A little financial boost to get the nursery set up, fix the house. You know how much this means to us. I could almost hear the fake sincerity in her voice. I could hear her trying to sell me the lie that this was just a casual favor, nothing to worry about. I clenched my fists. This was the same woman who had kicked me out of their house when I was struggling to find my own footing. This was the same woman who'd ignored me at every family event, as if I was invisible. And now, they wanted my money? I don't think so, Mom, I replied, my voice tight with anger. Why don't you ask Adam for it? He's got his own life, his own problems now. I've worked hard for everything I have. I'm not giving you a single dime. There was silence on the other end of the line. Then, my mother's voice cracked. Don't be like this, son. We're family. You've got to help us. Adam can't do it all on his own, especially not with a baby coming. You know how much he's been through. Please. Just this once. A surge of fury swept over me, threatening to break through my calm facade. You know what, Mom? I don't care about Adam. He's the one who stole my wife. He's the one who ruined everything. And now, after all these years of watching him get everything while I struggled, you want me to help him out? No, Mom. You can go ask him for the money you want. I slammed the phone down, the last words echoing in my mind. The nerve, the audacity. Adam had betrayed me in the worst possible way, and now he was going to profit from it? No, not while I was still breathing. But the bombshell was coming. As I paced around my apartment, trying to calm the storm inside my chest, the doorbell rang. My heart skipped a beat, and I instantly knew who it was. I opened the door to find my father standing there, his arms crossed, eyes filled with disappointment. "What is this, huh?" he asked, his voice low, almost accusing. "You've got your promotion, but you can't even help your own family? You're acting like you're above us now?" I felt the anger surge again. "You kicked me out when I needed you most, Dad. You never cared about me. You always favored Adam. And now you're asking for my help? For him?" My father's eyes narrowed. "It's family, son. It's what we do. Adam may not be perfect, but he's still your brother. And Laura, well, she's still the mother of your niece or nephew. You'll regret it if you turn your back on us." Regret. The word hit me like a slap in the face. I had spent my entire life regretting things, my decisions, my relationships, and now, I was supposed to feel bad because I couldn't just forgive them all? "I'll regret it, huh?" I said, my voice shaking with fury. "You know what? I already regret the way you've treated me. I regret letting Adam walk all over me. And I regret ever believing I had a place in this family." The look in my father's eyes softened, but it was too little, too late. I slammed the door in his face, feeling the weight of the moment crush down on me. That night, I barely slept. I kept tossing and turning, my mind racing with the same question: how could they be so blind? How could my own family demand so much from me after all the years of betrayal, manipulation, and neglect? And then there was Adam, my brother, the golden child, the man who could do no wrong. The man who had stolen my wife, and now, was going to have a child with her. I couldn't stop the anger that bubbled up inside me. The years of being the invisible one in the family, the one who worked tirelessly while Adam coasted by. It was enough. I had spent so much time trying to please my parents, trying to make them see me, trying to prove that I was worthy of their love and attention. But it had never worked. Adam always had their affection, always had the spotlight. And now, he wanted to tear apart the little bit of happiness I had managed to scrape together. The next morning, I got a call. It was from my work. My manager told me that they wanted me to come in to discuss an important matter. It wasn't an ordinary check-in. There was something about his tone that made me uneasy. As I got dressed, the weight of everything from the day before pressed down on me, making my hands shake. I could hear my mother's voice echoing in my head, her desperate plea for money. And Adam's text, the one about Laura being pregnant, haunted me like a sick joke. He'd always been the one to get away with everything, and I hated him for it. But now, my hate was turning into something far more dangerous: resentment. I arrived at work, my heart pounding in my chest. The office building, with its sterile, glass exterior, felt like a labyrinth of fake smiles and shallow conversations. But the moment I stepped into the conference room, I knew something was wrong. My manager, Peter, sat across from me, his eyes heavy with something unreadable. Beside him sat a tall man I didn't recognize. My stomach churned. "Sit down, Ben," Peter said, motioning to the chair. I obeyed. The tall man, who wore a suit far too expensive for my liking, slid a folder across the table toward me. "Ben," Peter began, "this is Michael from corporate. We've had some concerns about your performance lately. Specifically, we've noticed a lack of focus, a drop in your productivity. We were hoping you could explain." My stomach dropped. "I've been busy, Peter," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "A lot has been going on in my personal life, but I'm managing. I've always managed." Michael's gaze was icy, his tone more businesslike than I was prepared for. "We understand that, but the numbers don't lie. The projects you were overseeing, the marketing campaign, it's all been lagging behind. We can't afford delays." I froze. Was this some sort of test? Or was it real? Had everything I worked for been jeopardized by something so trivial as a family conflict? Peter glanced at Michael, who gave him a subtle nod. "We've decided to go in a different direction with your position, Ben," Peter said, his voice colder now. "Effective immediately, we're putting a hold on your promotion." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. I stared at them, trying to make sense of what I was hearing. "Wait, what?" I sputtered. "You can't be serious. I've worked my ass off for this. You can't just..." Peter raised his hand, cutting me off. "This is for your own good, Ben. We think it's better you take some time to reevaluate things. Sort out your personal matters, and come back when you're in a better place." My head was spinning. The room felt like it was closing in on me. I stood up, trying to steady myself. "You're firing me? Over this?" Michael didn't even flinch. "Consider it a sabbatical. We're offering you a severance package. You'll have time to deal with your personal matters." I slammed my fists on the table. "You've got to be kidding me," I muttered through gritted teeth. "This is about Adam, isn't it? This is about the fact that I'm dealing with everything that's falling apart in my life while he gets everything handed to him." There was a tense silence in the room. Michael's cold expression faltered for just a second. Peter's eyes shifted away. "It's not just about Adam," Peter said, his voice oddly flat. "It's about your performance. And if you're going to be distracted, then maybe it's time to step back." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The man who had spent years slaving away for this company, who had just received the promotion he deserved, was now being told to step down because of his brother's betrayal? I walked out of that conference room feeling like the walls were closing in. My promotion, the one I had dreamed of for years, was slipping through my fingers. I had no idea how long I stood there in the hallway, trying to hold myself together. I felt the cold emptiness of their words inside me. But it was more than just the promotion. It was everything. The way my family had treated me, the way they had ignored me, the way they treated Adam like some sort of untouchable golden boy. I had had enough. I sat in my car for a good 20 minutes after the meeting, my fists gripping the steering wheel so tight I could feel my knuckles crack. My chest was heaving with rage, every breath coming out jagged and sharp. The anger wasn't just from the company's decision. It was everything that had led up to this point. It wasn't just about the promotion. It wasn't just about the money. It was about the betrayal. The unrelenting, suffocating weight of betrayal that had hung over me for as long as I could remember. My family was a poison. A poison that I had willingly kept ingesting for years, hoping, praying, that maybe, just maybe, they would see me. Maybe they'd finally see me for once and not the guy they had been walking all over for years. But no, they never saw me, they never cared, and they never would. I slammed my fist on the dashboard, the sound of impact reverberating in the car. I could feel my blood boiling in my veins. The anger, the frustration, it was too much to contain. My mind was a firestorm, and I had been the one pouring fuel onto it every day. Adam, my perfect brother. The golden child. The one who had everything handed to him. The one who took my wife, took my family, and took everything that was supposed to be mine. And now, the bastard was about to have a baby with Laura, my ex-wife. The thought made my stomach churn. The smell of betrayal lingered in the air. The smell of their lies. I grabbed my phone, dialing Adam's number. It rang twice before he picked up. "Yeah?" His voice was annoyingly calm. Like he hadn't just destroyed everything I'd worked for. Like everything was fine. "Adam," I spat, my voice like venom, "I'm done. Do you hear me? Done." There was a pause on the other end, but I didn't care. I kept talking, the words pouring out of me like a tidal wave. "You and Laura, you think you can just walk into my life, take everything that's mine, and there will be no consequences? Well, I'm done. I've been your punching bag for too long, Adam. 4 years. You think I didn't see it? You think I didn't notice that Mom and Dad never gave a damn about me? That they only cared about you? That I had to earn my way in this family, while you just cruised along, doing whatever the hell you wanted?" His voice was tight now. "Ben, calm down. You're overreacting." "Overreacting?" I barked. No, I'm not. You and Laura destroyed my life, and now you want to take everything from me? You think I'm just going to sit back and let you waltz in and become the man I should have been? You've been nothing but a parasite, Adam. A parasite, and I'm done feeding you." There was a silence, and then Adam's voice broke through, colder now. "You're really going to do this, aren't you? You're really going to ruin everything just because you're jealous? Just because you can't handle the fact that I've moved on?" The words hit me like a slap to the face. Jealous. He had the audacity to call it jealousy? No, it wasn't jealousy. It was rage. And it was justified. I could feel the anger bubbling up, threatening to explode. "You're pathetic, Adam. You always have been. But you know what? I'm done. I'm done being your backup. I'm done being your safety net. I'm done with this family. Done." I didn't wait for him to respond. I hung up the phone, the screen still glowing with his number. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. My whole body was shaking with the force of the rage that was consuming me. I looked at the rearview mirror, my reflection staring back at me, eyes bloodshot, face flushed with anger. I looked insane, but that was what they had done to me. They had turned me into this. Into a person I didn't even recognize anymore. I started the engine. I wasn't just going to take this. I was going to make sure that they all felt what it was like to lose everything, to feel betrayed like I had. I drove straight to my parents' house. I didn't give a damn that they weren't expecting me. I wasn't going to ask for permission. I wasn't going to beg. I slammed the car door open and stormed up the front steps. I didn't bother knocking. I didn't care. I wasn't going to play nice anymore. I wasn't going to pretend everything was okay. Inside, my mother was sitting in the living room, flipping through some magazine. She looked up at me, her eyes wide with surprise. "Ben, what are you?" "I'm here," I said, cutting her off, my voice low and dangerous. "I'm done being your damn punching bag. I've had enough. I'm done with Adam. I'm done with all of you." Her face paled. "Ben, please, don't." "No," I interrupted, stepping forward, "you've treated me like crap my whole life. And now you want me to fix your mess? Want me to hand over money to help Adam? You've lost your damn minds. You don't get to walk all over me anymore." I turned to my father, who was sitting by the window, looking out into the yard. His eyes were cold, but I saw the flicker of guilt behind them. "Everything you've done to me," I continued, my voice shaking with fury, "it stops now. You think I'm going to just give and give and give until there's nothing left of me? No. I'm done. I'm not your fallback anymore." My mother looked at me with pleading eyes. "Please, Ben, you don't understand." "Oh, I understand all right," I snarled, my anger rising like a tidal wave. "I understand that I've spent my whole life trying to please people who never cared about me. I get it now. I'm not your damn charity case. And I'm not your son anymore." The words hung in the air, heavy and final. I turned and walked out, not waiting for them to speak. I could hear my mother's voice calling after me, but I didn't stop. I wouldn't stop. Not until I had nothing left to give, and even then, I'd make sure they knew how it felt to lose everything. I slammed the door behind me and drove off into the night, the anger still burning in my veins, unstoppable, unrelenting. This was the beginning of something new, and there was no going back. I spent the rest of the night driving. I didn't care where I was going, just that I needed to put as much distance between myself and the suffocating weight of my family, between myself and the people who had never seen me as anything more than a tool to be used. A backup. A placeholder. The invisible man in the background. My fingers gripped the steering wheel so tight I could feel the muscles in my arms burning, but I didn't care. Every turn of the wheel, every mile I put behind me, was a step toward freedom. It was the only thing that kept me from tearing the wheel off and driving myself off the road in blind fury. I didn't know how much time had passed, but eventually, I found myself parked on a cliff, overlooking a sprawling city in the distance. The neon lights flickered below me like a sea of distant stars, but none of it mattered. My entire world felt like it had crumbled beneath my feet. Everything I had worked for, my promotion, my career, my family, was nothing but rubble. And that's when I heard the familiar sound of my phone buzzing in my pocket. I pulled it out, expecting it to be one of my family members, probably my mother again, crying, begging me to come home. But it wasn't. It was a text from Adam. I stared at the screen, my finger hovering over the message. He was still trying to reach me. "Ben, I'm sorry. I never meant for things to go this far. But we're family. I'm asking you to let it go. For Mom, for Dad, for the baby." A bitter laugh bubbled up from deep in my chest. Let it go? Let it go? That was it, wasn't it? That was the problem. I had spent my entire life trying to let things go, trying to swallow every insult, every betrayal, every heartbreak like it was some kind of bad joke. I had let it all go. And it had gotten me nowhere. I was done. I had nothing left to lose. I responded, my fingers moving fast, my anger spilling onto the screen like a weapon. "You're right, Adam. You are family. And that's the problem. Because family doesn't betray you. Family doesn't steal everything from you and expect you to just roll over and smile. So you want me to let it go? Fine. But not for you. Not for Mom or Dad. I'm going to let it go for me. And I'll never look back. You and Laura? You can have each other. But you'll never have me." I hit send and threw the phone down onto the passenger seat, my hands shaking with the intensity of what I had just written. My heart was hammering in my chest, but for the first time in what felt like forever, I felt free. But that wasn't the end. It couldn't be. I drove back home, my mind a storm of thoughts and feelings. As I pulled into my driveway, I saw something that made my stomach drop. My family's car was parked in front of my house. My parents, Adam, Laura, all of them, standing at my front door, waiting. The storm had found me. And now, it was time for me to face it. I stepped out of the car, my feet moving toward them like they were magnets pulling me in. My father stepped forward, a look of guilt and desperation in his eyes. "Ben, please. We've been trying to reach you. We need to talk." "Talk?" I said, my voice dripping with venom. "What, you want me to forgive you? You want me to just forget everything you've done to me?" How you ignored me. How you let Adam walk all over me, take everything from me, and now you want me to bail him out? Is that it? My mother's eyes welled with tears, but there was no sympathy in mine. Ben, it's not like that. We didn't know how to handle it. We didn't know. Shut up, I snapped. You knew exactly what was going on. And you did nothing. Nothing but make me feel like I was the problem. The invisible one. The one who could never live up to Adam. Well, you were right about one thing. I can't live up to Adam. I'm nothing like him. I never will be. My voice cracked, but I didn't stop. I've spent my whole life trying to make you proud, trying to make you see me. And what do I get? Betrayed, used, left behind. And now you want me to help fix your mess? I won't. I turned to walk away, but my father grabbed my arm, his grip firm. Ben, please. You don't understand. We're family. You have to help us. I wrenched my arm free, my rage blinding me. I turned to face him, my words like daggers. No, Dad. I don't have to do a damn thing. I'm done with all of you. I'm not your savior. I'm not your backup. And I sure as hell don't owe you anything. The look on their faces, the disappointment, the anger, the confusion was everything I needed to see. For the first time in my life, I didn't need their approval. I didn't need their love. I stepped into my house, leaving them standing there, frozen, as the door slammed shut behind me. The moment felt like an eternity. A finality. The end of a chapter. The end of them. As I stood in my empty living room, the weight of the world lifted off my shoulders. The storm inside me had passed, but the battle was only beginning. I didn't know where I was headed from here, but for the first time, I was making the decisions. And I wasn't going to stop until I had everything I deserved.